Hello, this is Barbara around the WNBA. So I know some of y'all saw the game tonight, Indiana against the Atlanta Dream. It was not the most wonderful game to view regarding Indiana. And it started early on. When they first got on the court, I was looking for their fast breaks. I was looking for their quickness, their speed, and all of that. And I didn't see much of that whatsoever. That concerned me because Indiana Fever play better when they are going at a fast pace. It's almost like when they're going at a fast pace, that's so much their lane that they're not worried about whether they're going to make the bucket or not. They just shoot with confidence, and they do. But when they're playing something that's below that kind of quickness or fast pace, it doesn't bode well, as we saw tonight. This is Barbara around the WNBA. Let's get into it. Okay, let's look at some of the quarters here. Indiana in the first quarter, 19-22. That's not a good way to start a basketball game. Second quarter, 14 Indiana, 11 ATL. It looks like they're gonna, push, and they're gonna do their thing, and it's gonna be a good game. Third quarter, 9 for Indiana. Atlanta had 23. 23. That third quarter was ridiculous. The pace was off. They weren't communicating. Um, they were going slow. Um, it's like I was waiting for them to go off, and they did the opposite of that. So I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if that was a direction from the coach that they tried to pressure the the Dream with the slowness and pace, and thought that would be disruptive towards them or for them, when that was the opposite. What it did for Atlanta was it gave them a good eye to the bucket. It gave them a good eye on how to defend them and how to utilize their offense. And they did. They did. The fourth was 16 Indiana, and Atlanta was 21. This is not the way to win a game. It just isn't. And so I knew from the start, if they did not understand how the Dream play, then they were going to lose, because the Dream is on a mission always. And they are good at three-pointers. Okay? They're good at going into the paint. They have Griner, they have Bree there. All right? And when they spin and turn around, they usually make the bucket. They got folks, like Alicia, Gray, who will go into the paint. Don't care about getting banged up. She just goes into the paint, gets the bucket. It's almost sometimes they go so often into the paint where they just throw the ball up, not knowing if it's going to hit or not, and they just do it. And if worse comes to worse, they get the foul, so they go to the line. If worse comes to worse, they get the bucket and then go to the line. And what I saw tonight is that the only times where that was the case for the Fever was with Mitchell a couple times, and maybe I think Eri tried to do that as well. But let me tell you, it was not the game for the Fever tonight. Let's go through some more of the stats in terms of how they played. Natasha Howard made, 15 points. Aaliyah Boston, 7 points. Sydney Colson, 3 points. Kelsey Mitchell, 11 points. Lexi Hull, 0 points. And Lexi Hull was on the floor for 32 minutes. Now, she did score some defensive rebounds, 5 rebounds, so that's good. And she had 1 assist. From the bench, we have Dawana, who earned 5 points. Dantas, 3 points. And Eri earned 14 points. 14 points. Now, Bonner was in there for 20 minutes, scored only 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, made 1 3-pointer out of 2. Okay. And let me tell you, in looking at Bonner, when she was guarding someone, she was too far away from them. She gave them space to make 3-pointers at will. She gave them space to do whatever they wanted to do. And I was encouraged when Bonner, went into the paint and, blocked or whatever. I was, encouraged by that. However, she's still got to pick it up. She still can't be where she has been these last, 3 games. She's got to pick it up, and I'm not sure why she's not. She's quick. She's slow to go down to downhill. She's slow for that. So I don't know. It's almost like when she makes a point, like a 3-pointer or whatever else, I'm so excited and I'm happy. But for her, that should be something that she does routinely, naturally, all the time. So I don't know. And Lexi Hull, she did her best with defense, and she did a good job with that, but she didn't do much of anything else tonight. So I don't know what the game plan was with the Indiana Fever. I don't know what the coaches talked to them about during the game or before the game, but whatever it was, it did not work. And it wasn't the same thing that they had heard or did, last game or the game before. Their game was totally off tonight. Off in a just a not nice way. We look at Atlanta. Bree Jones, 21 points. Griner, 9 points. Alicia Gray, 23 points. Jordan Canada, 4 points. Ryan Howard, 3 points. That was the starters. Off the bench, Coffee, 10 points. Coffee, someone they need to always watch. She got 3 of 7 3-pointers. She will take that shot. And they need to double team her or whatever they need to do. For everyone who is potentially going to shoot that 3-pointer and get it, they got to find an effective way to guard them. And they haven't done it yet. Naz Hillman, 2 points. Maya Caldwell, 2 points. And Papao had 3 points. Okay? So, what's the problem here? They've played this team before. And since this season started, they've played this is their 3rd time playing them. What haven't they learned yet? Why haven't they got it yet? Okay. One of the things I noticed about Mitchell tonight, she was flying around, in the paint, around the perimeter, here and there. But she still wasn't herself. Okay, she really wasn't. Because a lot of times she would have taken those shots and she would have gotten those 3-point shots. So I do not know. Other than the fact that they had poor defense, poor offense, they need to increase all of that like 10 times more. They need to go back to their fast pace no matter what. They need to be able to go into that, or anybody's court, go into the court and own the court and take the win. I didn't see any kind of dog mentality. I didn't see any kind of, hungriness. I didn't see any of that. I saw it in Eri, who played well. She turned over a couple times, but she still played well. And that's another thing, turnovers, those have to stop. I mean, it was a disappointing, loss because it didn't have to be. And I'm sure that, CC was on that bench and she was like biting her tongue and she was like, oh man. And I'm sure she wished she could have played. Now, would that have made a difference? I think so. But would it have made them get a win? I don't know, because you can be the best player that Caitlin is. Even what we saw Eri do when she was playing. She got 14 points. Okay? You can't force your teammates to be dogs. You can't force them to be gritty. You can't force them to be hungry. You can't force the fear out of them. You just can't. And so, while these 2 point guards can do well, I don't see how they can run a team that is not with it, or are not doing what is necessary to win. Because see, from what I can see, to win a game, you have to be gritty. You have to be hungry. You have to be tenacious. You have to go at a fast pace. You have to be willing to learn from your mistakes with the teams that you play and trip them up and make them, disturb their defense, disturb their offense, disturb them so much that they're off and they're in a tizzy. If you can't do that, you can't win. That's what Allisha Gray does on The Dream, if you watch her. She ain't worried about who's standing there or what they're going to do. She's just doing her job. When you have people like Griner and Bree, your bigs on The Dream, you got to know a way, a strategy, more than just standing straight up in the paint. Because they're going to always get buckets when you do that. That's not going to deter them. And so if you don't have strong players, right? If you don't have players who can really defend that area to the point where whoever's coming downhill, they are going to go, they're going to back up because they don't want to even have any parts of you. So for right now, as far as Griner and as far as Bree Jones, the Fever don't have an answer for them. They don't. They don't have an answer for them. And that's unfortunate because that means they will not win against them when they're doing their work under the basket. Check it out. The next team they play is Liberty. Do you really think they're going to win against the Liberty with this kind of attitude or behavior that they displayed on the floor tonight? No way. No way. Because the New York Liberty are so strategic in what they do. They get out there and they play chess. And if you're still thinking about, crossword puzzles and playing checkers and go fish, guess what? You're going to lose. But this game didn't have to be lost tonight. And it was because of how they played. Well, I should say, because of their lack of play, their lack of defense, their lack of offense, their lack of grit, their lack of tenacity, their lack of just being hungry to win. So, all that said, this is Barbara around the WNBA. Until next time, go Fever.